everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to run through some building tips that I have found useful when playing Animal Crossing and creating some lovely islands. So I hope you can find these helpful. If you have any more tips and tricks that you use for when you're decorating your island, feel free to share them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but without further ado, let's get started. My first tip for you is not to rely on in-game bridges. I found that these can be big, chunky, and can totally change up your water terraforming. There is nothing worse than creating a really cute river, then you come to try and place a bridge down and you have to totally redo it. Why not step out of your comfort zone, use stepping stones or even a land bridge? These are great if you have smaller areas and you don't want to sacrifice lots and lots of space. Do not forget to add smaller items on top of your larger furniture pieces. This is a great way to add depth and layer to your builds, and also a great way to utilize those cute smaller items. Some of them may surprise you when you're trying to test out which items you can place down, but generally these items do tend to look better when they have something on top of them. For example, the wooden box, the bottle crate, they're all just a little bit basic without something on top of them. So get creative and think about what can fit and what doesn't. If you are looking to make a super natural and overgrown island, I definitely recommend using weeds and glowing moss as an accompaniment to your natural elements. So like your flowers and things, these work really nicely alongside and really help to achieve that look. I just think they're beautiful. Just one thing to note, if there are over 150 or more weeds present in the town, no more weeds will spawn and your weeds will stop growing. Also bear in mind the different seasons and the different types of weeds that you will have. Some of them are prettier than others. Cough, autumn weeds, they are stunning. So if you're doing an autumn island, please use the weeds. They will look amazing and really enhance your island. Before you place an item of furniture, think about pre-planning your theme. This can really help you decide what builds you're going to do, what furniture to look out for, which custom designs you pick. The best way to do this is to create a mood board. For example, you can place down your custom design, the flower choices you're going to go for, some of the furniture items, and this will give you a visual representation of what you're thinking in your head. Honestly, you will thank me later if you do this, because you can decide there and then if that theme is going to work for you. I see so many people getting burnt out because they decide halfway through the island that it isn't working for them, but getting this done and out the way will definitely make it easier for you later on. For tip number 5, this may be a bit of an obvious one, but I really do like to think about what kind of furniture I'm going to need for a particular build. There's websites out there that you can use to plan out what furniture items you're going to use and think about how many you're going to need as well. So take a trip to a treasure island, or maybe stock up on items from Nook's Cranny or pre-order some, because having the items in your storage will make it so much easier when it comes to actually doing the build. I find it so frustrating when I get to a point in a build where I'm like, damn it, I need that one particular item, and then I have to break away and then I just lose my whole building process. So definitely remember to get your items ready beforehand. Are you running low on chairs? Maybe you're doing a really natural island, so you want something to fit that aesthetic. Well, don't forget that you can use tree stumps as little stools. These are so adorable. They are the perfect height for little tables, and I just really think that they're nice to do something different once in a while. Just remember that unfortunately you can't put anything on top of them, which is a bit of a downside, because trust me, these would look so cute with a cushion on top. Number 7, we're going to talk about beaches real quick. This is totally personal preference, but it's okay to do it any way you want. I personally feel that beaches do kind of help finish off an island, and it's fair enough if you don't want to decorate on them because they are hard and they do take some getting used to. But I do feel like adding a scatter of flowers, maybe some weeds, even some stunted flowers without any blooms do help make it feel like a little bit lived in, like you've paid some attention to the area, but it's really simple and really effective. So maybe if you've got a spare 5 minutes, just run around your beaches and drop some flowers. Animal Crossing definitely upped its fence game with the release of 2.0. Some of those are so cute. However, I do have a bit of a bugbear about them. That being that because of the grid system on your island, you can struggle to get items up close to them, so you do get a bit of a weird gap between them. So in some cases, when I'm decorating, I do like to use alternative to fencing. This means that you can get your furniture items super close together. Make sure that you've got lots of items in an area, which is one of my favorite things to do. There are lots of alternatives you can use, for example, log stakes, steel fences, rope partitions, or wood partitions, but there are lots of different ways out there that you can do this. Simple panels are great for making fake buildings, and it is something that I've been doing for a long time now. One of the things that I have learned is that don't just place down 2 simple panels and call it a day. Look, there's a fake building. Yeah, it kind of looks like a fake building, but you need to add depth to it to make it more believable and more interesting to the eye. I'm not talking about doing lots of layers because that isn't necessary, but please, when you're using them, try and add something behind them to give them more height and also more depth. It really will make a lot of difference. If you're looking for tips for making forests or kind of natural areas, I would definitely recommend using different trees in different growth stages. I feel like this adds a lot of dimension, a lot of height, a lot of variation in something that can just look like a big blob of green. That is not what you want. So one way to do it is mix up the different heights, the different areas, and just try and play around with it just to try and get that look right. I love creating cliffs and little terraform areas on my islands. However, the cliff faces themselves are pretty boring and bland. Now with the 2.0 update, we can obviously change this because we can add vines and cute little ladders up on those cliffs. Not only are these practical, so you don't have to whip out your wooden ladder every 5 minutes, but they are also cute and really aesthetic looking. So please remember to use these when you're staring at a blank cliff face. If you struggle with terraforming and you want to create something magical, why not create yourself a blank canvas first of all? I found that when terraforming or tackling a big terraforming job, that it is easier to have a flattened area first of all. It may take a little bit of extra work, but sometimes we don't like the areas that come with the in-game maps anyways, so definitely having it nice and flat so that you can create something beautiful helps. Maths is not normally my friend, but when it comes to planning larger builds, I definitely recommend using this to your advantage. I would recommend planning or mapping out the area that you want your build to be, and then pay close attention to whether you need the number of tiles to be an odd or an even number. So many times I've gone and done these builds and then not paid attention and ended up having to have a door that I did not want. For example, in the middle of a build where you want 2 doors, but in fact you only are able to have 1. It can be painful. Trust me, I've been there. So just pay attention to the size of the items that you're using, where you're going to place them, and just really just plan it out. Custom designs are great for doing this. Layers. As onions have layers, as the famous Shrek would say, builds have layers too. And this is something that I find crucial when creating my builds. Some examples of this may be layering custom designs and then putting furniture items on top, putting down a pillow and then putting something on top. But if you're thinking about the backdrops, adding something behind some fencing or adding something amongst the trees just to give the build depth and height, and it will make a difference. It's something that I do. There's a very fine line between clutter and layers. Sometimes I don't get it all right, but I think that is a very important thing to remember when coming up with a cute build. There are so many different ways that you can deal with paths on your island. However, I think it is important to mix it up. Having a few different paths on your island or mixing up a custom design path with an in-game path is really nice. It adds up some contrast between areas and also helps when you're transitioning into a different section of your island if you don't want it to all be the same. On this island, I'm using the dirt path and also the grass path. On my previous island, I used the cobble path with the beautiful flower path. So everyone, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. My final little tip for you is have fun, do not put too much pressure on yourself, and do what feels natural. Don't be afraid of mixing things up and redoing builds. If you have to, that's fine. Just do what you enjoy and allow your creativity to flow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye bye.